In Indonesian, ancient temples are referred to as candi, thus locals refer to Borobudur Temple as Candi Borobudur. The term candi also loosely describes ancient structures, for example gates and baths. The origins of the name Borobudur is derived from Boro for big and Budara for Buddha. The name Borobudur was first written in Raffles's book, The History of Java. Raffles wrote about a monument called Borobudur, but there are no older documents suggesting the same name. The only old Javanese manuscript that hints the monument called Budur as a holy Buddhist sanctuary is Nagrakirtagama, written by Mpu Prapanka, a Buddhist scholar of Majapahit court in 1365. Most candi are named after a nearby village. If it followed Javanese language conventions and was named after the nearby village of Boro, the monument should have been named Budur Boro. Raffles thought that Budur might correspond to the modern Javanese word Buddha ancient Boro. He also suggested that the name might derive from Boro, meaning great or honorable, and Budara for Buddha. However, another archaeologist suggests the second component of the name, Budur, comes from Javanese term Budara, mountain. Another possible etymology, by Dutch archaeologist H.J. Burnett Kempers, suggests that Borobudur is a corrupted simplified local Javanese pronunciation, of Biarabada written in Sanskrit, as Vihara Budayur. The term Budayur could mean the city of Buddhas, while another possible term Budar is probably an old Javanese term, still survived today in Balinese vocabulary, which means a high place, constructed from the stem word, thuur or luhur, which means high. This suggests that Borobudur means, Vihara of Buddha located on a high place, or on a hill. The construction and inauguration of a sacred Buddhist building, possibly a reference to Borobudur, was mentioned in two inscriptions, both discovered in Kedu, Temanggung Regency. The Karang Tengah inscription, dated 824, mentioned a sacred building named Janilaya, the realm of those who have conquered worldly desire and reached enlightenment, inaugurated by Pramadawardhani, daughter of Samarachunga. The Tritipusan inscription, dated 842, is mentioned in the Shema, the tax-free lands awarded by Sri Kahyuanan, Pramadawardhani, to ensure the funding and maintenance of a commulan called Bhumisambara. Commulan is from the word mula, which means the place of origin, a sacred building to honor the ancestors, probably those of the Sailendras. Kasparis suggested that Bhumisambara Budara, which in Sanskrit means the mountain of combined virtues of the 10 stages of bodhisattvahood, was the original name of Borobudur. The location. Approximately 40 kilometers, 25 miles, northwest of Yogyakarta and 86 kilometers, 53 miles, west of Surakarta. Borobudur is located in an elevated area between two twin volcanoes, Sundoro Suming and Merbabu Merapi, and two rivers, the Progo and the Elo. According to local myth, the area known as Kedu Plain is a Javanese sacred place and has been dubbed sacred due to its high agricultural fertility. During the restoration in the early 20th century, it was discovered that 3 Buddhist temples in the region, Borobudur, Mendut, and Pa, are positioned along a straight line. A ritual relationship between the 3 temples must have existed, although the exact ritual process is unknown. Ancient lake hypothesis. Exposed Buddha image within the stupas of Borobudur upper terraces. Speculation about a surrounding lake's existence was the subject of intense discussion among archaeologists in the 20th century. In 1931, a Dutch artist and scholar of Hindu and Buddhist architecture, Nieuwenkamp developed a hypothesis that the Kedu Plain was once a lake, and Borobudur initially represented a lotus flower, floating on the lake. It has been claimed that Borobudur was built on a bedrock hill, 265 meters, 869 feet, above sea level, and 15 meters, 49 feet, above the floor, of a dried-out paleolake. De Marseille, together with Professor Thanakai Money, took soil samples in 1974 and again in 1977, from trial trenches that had been dug into the hill, as well as from the plain, immediately to the south. These samples were later analyzed by Thanakai Money, who examined their pollen and spore content, to identify the type of vegetation that had grown in the area around the time of Borobudur's construction. They were unable to discover any pollen, or spore samples, that were characteristic of any vegetation known to grow in an aquatic environment, such as a lake, pond or marsh. The area surrounding Borobudur appears to have been surrounded by agricultural land and palm trees at the time of the monument's construction, as is still the case today. Cesar Vogt and the geomorphologist Dr. J. Nasson, in 1985-86 field studies, re-examined the Borobudur lake hypothesis, and confirmed the absence of a lake around Borobudur at the time of its construction, and active use as a sanctuary. These findings, a new perspective on some old questions pertaining to Borobudur, were published in the 2005 UNESCO publication, titled The Restoration of Borobudur.